All right, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome. My name is Ryan Lowe, and I am live streaming and building an Alexa skill. So I work for the Amazon Alexa team. I'm a technical evangelist. My job is to educate and inspire developers to build with Alexa. Specifically, I focus on Alexa skills that run on devices like the Echo devices you see behind me. And part of my job is to make sure that I understand how all these devices and skills and such work. And so I do that by practicing, by building skills. And so that's exactly what I'm doing. I am building a skill that my end goal is to launch into the store and have published. And I'm just slowly working my way through there a few days a week. So I am building a skill that will hopefully help with one of the use cases that we have. So every Tuesday, myself and a co-host, Jeff Blankenberg, get on and live, and we stream to a variety of different platforms. We stream to Twitch and YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook, and we answer questions from developers. So we get on, we talk for an hour, developers ask questions, we respond hopefully the best we can and answer questions. And then when we're done, these hour-long episodes get archived inside of YouTube. And now we have hundreds of hours of YouTube videos that have all kinds of great content, all kinds of answers to all kinds of questions, which is great. But if you're a developer and it's not Tuesday morning and you have a question about Alexa, you could go and watch these hours of YouTube videos hoping to find where your question's being asked so you can get the answer, but that's not really practical. So we have all these hours of video that are kind of locked and inaccessible in a lot of different ways. So I'm building a skill to hopefully unlock that. So what am I doing? I am, my skill, the end result of this skill is I want to be able to go to Alexa and say, show me from office hours, or show me from Tech Talks, which is another series of videos we have on YouTube, or show me from Alexa Live last year, where we talked about Alexa presentation language, or any sort of question that you might have that you build a form and ask a question to Alexa. I want to be able to then go and search the past history of YouTube videos and then serve up one specific one. And my Alexa device in my hallway just got triggered. That's hilarious. Alexa, stop. All right. These devices I renamed because I say that word quite a bit, but I think my kids must have unmuted one of the Alexas in the hallway. So I have to be a little careful about that this time. So the end result is I want to be able to show the video, zoom right to that point in time when that question was asked, and hopefully serve up relevant content, and then allow the user to page through all the different search results. So up to this point, I've been doing this for almost 2 months now. And again, just a few hours, like a week, really. I have the back-end infrastructure pretty much complete. So if we switch over to my screen, I can show you my architecture diagram. So this is in my GitHub repo. You can find it attached to my Twitch profile. And then this is one of my pinned repositories here. You should be able to find it hopefully pretty easily. And here I have all the source code for everything I'm building, the back end and the front end. My goal is that anyone who's following along could deploy this infrastructure in their account and get going with it. And I should also say that a lot of this has come from a blog post that I read and was inspired about. Here, I think a lot of the credit to what I built, I've copied and pasted from these guys. And so Angela and Mike, thank you. This blog post has been super helpful. But going back to my repo, this is the architecture diagram. It's a total mess. And I should say that I did not sit down and plan out how this entire skill is going to be architected. I'm just kind of going through it slowly. And so my architecture diagram kind of looks like that. You can see I started with a really core piece of concept here, and then I keep adding on to it. I will come back and clean up this quite a bit once I feel good about the system that has been built. Up till now, I have the backend infrastructure to where it is mostly working. I'm testing it each week as we drop a new office hour video. And then I started just in the last week on the actual Alexa skill. So last time on Wednesday, I was able to, from my device back here, make a query into my database and pull back results. I haven't been able to do anything with those results yet, but I have been able to connect that whole thing. So now what I want to do today, I want to actually start working on the Alexa skill, and we're going to give it a nice visual interface to our skill, so that we'll be able to speak to the skill, have it to perform the search, but then we'll be able to like go through the different results and page through it. Both on the screen, we want to be able to see the video, but then also we'll put touch controls on there so we can page through results, but then we'll also audibly be able to page through results. I'm not sure how far I'm going to get today, but we'll just see how it goes. And the other thing I want to call out is that I am still having trouble. It looks like, I'm looking at my Twitch inspector, I'm still having issues with getting a stable internet connection. So I will just keep working through that. At the end of all these episodes, I do upload this to my own YouTube channel. So there's at least a clean version that I've recorded locally here on my computer without skip frames and all that. So if nothing else, my YouTube channel will have like a nice archive of this. But that's what I've been working on. So today, let's get to the skill, and let's start adding a front end visual, nice visual front end to the skill. Okay, so we do that. I should also say, like, I do have my local repository. I am using SAM framework, service application model, to make all the deployments. I've written a lot of resources in CloudFormation, including the Lambda that my skill is going to call. So the backend to my Alexa skill is hosted here, and I can deploy all that from my local machine up using CloudFormation. And so I have that over here. You can see I have a folder for skill backend. This is the code for that. This is what Alexa calls. And then I also have the Alexa code to my whole skill. Where is it? Skill front end. Here I've downloaded so I can version control the whole skill front end. And I can open up and I can start messing with the interaction model and making updates here. And then what I can do is I can publish from here up, or I could pull down from the developer console. And this is important because there's a few things that I find easier to do in the developer console. So this is the developer console here. There's a few things I think are easier to just work here in the user interface versus modifying everything in the JSON. And you can, to be clear, do everything in JSON and publish up, and there's like CLI commands and a bunch of other stuff to make this easier. But especially for live streaming and interacting with others, I think going through the console is a better way for others to follow along who may not be Alexa experts. And so that's what I'm going to be doing. So the very first thing that we want to do to our skill is we want to be able to add what's called Alexa presentation language. So let me first turn that on, and then I can show you what this actually is. So we come down here to interfaces in our custom skill dashboard, and we want to turn on Alexa presentation language. And then all of them are checked. We would want to make sure that we check all the different viewports that are available. So the viewports, you can think of like the different devices. So here I have all rectangular devices. I have the Echo Show 15 and like the Echo Show 5 and Echo Show 8. And what I could, and there's like the round Echo Spot. I could enable and disable visual UIs for each one of those different devices. Here I want to turn them all on, although the Echo Spot I may want to come back and turn off. It might be a little difficult to play YouTube videos on the Echo Spot, but I don't actually have an Echo Spot, but we'll be able to simulate this in the simulator and make sure that it does look pretty decent. Here, like Fire TV, yep, great, everything, we'll just leave it all on for right now. So what is Alexa presentation language? It allows you to create visuals that go with your skill. So when Alexa first launched, it was all voice interface, and most of it were devices like the Echo Spot, or no, not Echo Spot. Now I can't think of the name. The standard Echo that doesn't even have a screen to it. So you'd interact with it via voice, and it would respond via voice. But then we started adding displays to these Echo devices, and so now we can use Alexa presentation language to add nice visuals to our Alexa skill. So Alexa is still always going to be like a voice first type interface, and so you should always design for voice. You can't skip the voice part of Alexa, but we can also add really great visuals, and that's what we're going to be doing. We're adding Alexa presentation language APL, and if we go over to the Alexa docs, we can find tons of information on Alexa presentation language. And again, to create visual experience for your skills with graphics. And we are going to be adding video. So we'll be able to add buttons and play the video and so on. So the first thing we have to do is we have to turn this on to enable our skill, to tell our skill, yes, we support this. So we'll go ahead and save that change. And then I am going to rebuild the skill, which will kind of rebuild the front end. And then I need to download this to my local machine. But while I'm in here, just to kind of show, our interaction model is still really bare. We need to add a lot more to this, and we will. But right now, I only have one custom intent, which is really just a search. And so here, an intent you can think of as like what a user is intending to do, and I can tie multiple different utterances to the single intent. As an example, here, I only have one sample utterance where I'm saying search, and then I have a variable called query, and this is what we call a slot. So here I have one slot where a variable can go. So I'm saying search, and then anything after search gets captured in this slot. And this slot is of type search query, which is a really eager kind of slot. So it's going to capture all everything else. Just as an example, one of the things I wanted to do in here was also add custom slots. You can see like you could have slots for different sports, different celebrities. You can do like a 4-digit slot for capturing years. You can capture time. You can do all kinds of things with slots. And so one of the things I want to be able to do is be able to capture which channel or what franchise series of videos. So I'm pulling down every single YouTube video from our YouTube channel, which has our office hours in it, but it also has other videos. Like this week we did a tech talk, and that video now lives in YouTube. You'll find all kinds of great content series in the past. You'll find Alexa Live content. And so all that is there. And what I want to be able to do is eventually be able to search for different franchises or different video series. So I could say search Tech Talks and then I have my search query. So I'm going to come back in. This is a really, really simple intent. I'm leaving it that way on purpose because I just want to be able to at least start getting the visual done. And then we'll come back and we'll start adding more expressive intents, more declarative intents. Like I would love to be able to say, search from office hours 2 years ago where Ryan and Jeff were talking about Alexa presentation language and how do I incorporate that into my skill on an Echo Spot. Like that would be a really great intent to pass over to my backend skill that I can use all of those variables, all those different slot variables to form a really rich query into my OpenSearch database to be able to find exactly what the user's looking for. And then you can do, like one utterance I can add right now is I could just find different utterances for the same intent. So here I can say search for this, or I could say find this, and then whatever. So this allows, when I build this now, I can save this model and rebuild it. And this tells Alexa's backend artificial intelligence how to route what the user says to the different intents. So here if the user says find or search, and then a string of text, both of those utterances from the user will get routed to this search intent inside my skill. We do have a fallback intent, so if any of these searches or utterances don't actually resolve to any intent, then it will go to the fallback intent. So we're able to provide to the user like, oh, you should have said find or search. And that's how we can kind of redirect users. But the best thing to do is just to make it natural up front. So, find testers, find what are people going to be saying. So now I have find and search are synonyms for the same search intent. Okay, but all of that has nothing to do with APL. I just wanted to talk about, I will be coming back in here and making a lot of improvements to the interaction model is kind of what we call this. And then my skill invocation name, right now I have developer video archive. I'll update this. You can update this up until you publish. Once you publish, it kind of gets locked in and you're kind of stuck. But this is how users find your skill. You'd say open developer video archive. In fact, computer open developer video archive. Really?
Welcome to the developer office hours video library search.
Computer stop. So that is that's my skill, and I can open it on computer stop. Stop.
Goodbye.
Thank you. I can open it on my account because that device is linked to my developer account, and so this is not a published skill, so no one else will be able to open this on their device, but I can open this on any of my devices because my two accounts are linked. So I should call that out. And in fact, just as an aside, this is a really handy way to just kind of build stuff. So one of my first skills that I built, even before joining the Alexa team, I built a skill to check in on my chicken coop. So I have a chicken coop in my backyard. It's connected with IoT devices that send data back to AWS. And I live in the middle of the desert in Phoenix, and so it gets really hot. So I have a bunch of temperature probes out there, report back the temperature, and then I can ask Alexa, how are my chickens doing? And it'll tell me. And that's a skill that I developed. It's in my account. I'm never going to publish that skill because it has no value outside of anyone else, but I can use it because it is in my developer account. Okay, I keep getting distracted away from APL. So APL, you can come in here, and in the developer console, we have a nice tool to help you craft visuals. So I can come over here to multimodal responses. So multimodal is the different modalities that you have to interact. So voice is one, visual is another. And I can say create new visual response, and I can start creating APL documents, which are just JSON documents here in the developer console. And this is a really nice way to kind of test visual documents before you put them into code and then serve them up, because you can iterate on them pretty quickly here. But I also want to call out that there is an amazing tool out there called APL Ninja, and this is built by one of the, this is not attached to Amazon, this is built by one of the community developers, and it is amazing. And in here are just a bunch of different APL documents that people have authored and then have served up and set and allowed others to view. So you come in here and you can find all kinds of different APL examples, which are really, really just amazing. Like here's one from Mark Tucker, one of the Alexa developers in the community, and it's just a really simple countdown timer. And there's really simple examples, and this is not even that simple. This is a little bit more complex. And then there's really complex examples. One of the ones that I was looking for is a video player. And so I found this video player, and then I found this video player. Both these are on APL Ninja. This video player is the one that I really wanted to try out and test. So what I like about this is it has, again, this is all built in APL, Alexa Presentation Language. It's a JSON syntax, expressive, and you express everything in JSON, and then it renders it to the screen. I'll say Alexa will render it to the screen. And so here you have different items. So there's like containers and progress value bars, a touch wrapper, a video player. So here you can see there's like a video player behind everything. And then you can interact with the video player. So like you can create different commands that interact with each other. And we'll kind of dive into all of these as we go. But instead of starting from scratch, building out an APL document, I really just want to use this example, mostly because I copy and paste code any chance I get. I already told you I did that with the blog post originally. So where's my blog? So, I started with my own repository. I copied a lot of stuff from this blog and these two authors, and I will do the same here and copy and paste this. It's a rather long APL document. Like it's almost 500 lines of code. And a lot of it is just to keep all this different components in sync. So as an example, the video component is one component. The progress bar is another component. These two text elements showing the time are other components. These are 3 different buttons. And APL allows me to send commands in between all these different components. So if I just find the play button, where is the play button? We should find that first. I think that'll be a really great example. It's not called button. I just was guessing on what the name of it was going to be. So these are the texts. This must be container. So here's the progress bar. It's a type Alexa progress bar. And I should say that this the documentation has really amazing documentation on all the different components that you can use. So if I come back over to here, I find it easiest just to do like a search for APL and then the name of the component. Oops. Well, here it is. Here is like the progress bar component, all the different parameters you can set on the progress bar. And over here are a bunch of other components you can use. You can see here. And so you can just read through the documentation and find out how to use all these different components. I am just going to copy and paste a lot of this. So here you could Alexa transparent controls. I'm still trying to find the play button. Those are the commands. Progress bar. That's the text. More text. I wonder if they're doing different for different devices. So you can also simulate like different devices. So here I could do the hub, the Echo Spot. Oops. And what's nice is this APL document will render nicely on the Echo Spot too. So this is another great reason to use this. So they're probably creating different, they're looking at different viewports. So you can specify different styles for different viewports as well, which is really quite amazing. Okay, so let me just go through this. Let me go back to the big display. What do I want to do? Go back to this one. Yeah, there it is. The search is not there. I searched for button earlier. You guys saw me do it. Okay, so here's a video player. So the video player has different events attached to it. So on pause of the video player is going to change, right, the state of this button here. And nice as APL Ninja will send these alerts on the different events that are happening. So I still have not found the actual component. So this is interacting with the button. Oh my goodness. The search is not wanting to be helpful for me. It seems if it's not in frame, it doesn't find it. There it is. Okay. No, this is. Oh yeah, this is it. This is it. This is it. Alexa transparent controls. So it is the. They're drawing. Wow, this is an impressive document. So they're drawing these buttons, kind of using something similar to SVG, but this is AVG. Okay, so anyway, let's copy this document, and first thing I do is I need to update my Lambda skill just so I don't get this out of sync. So I can come back over here. I can that's not what I want to do. it must not have found, hold on, let me restart VS Code. There. Okay, now it has found my Alexa skill in my local. That was weird. So let's see if I can remember how to pull down. Let me download the interaction model. So remember, I made changes to it, so I want to make sure that I updated it. So now I have more utterances here. Skill manifest, let's also download that. I just want to make sure I'm staying in sync. So skill manifest shows here where I've said, now I've added APL and all the different viewports. So again, I could have come in here and added all this JSON locally and then published it up to the console, and it would have done the exact same thing, would have enabled all these. But for stuff like this, I find it easier to go into the console, enable APL, and then just download it. Okay, and then here there is support for creating Alexa presentation language here, and we can actually preview documents, which is actually kind of cool. I don't have any documents. But I'm actually going to, the way I'm going to author these documents is I'm going to actually put them, so you can, let me go back to here. I can create a new document here and save it. I can save this as a test doc. And now what I can do is, this is an Alexa hosted APL doc. And so in my code, I can just say, use this APL doc named test and render it. That's one way that you can host or manage APL docs. And then I think if I come back here, it would say, let me do download. I thought I could download it. Maybe I can, just needs to refresh. Nope. All right. Well, anyway, that's not how I'm going to manage my APL documents anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to manage this in code. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to my skill backend, and I'm going to add a folder called docs. And then in here, I'm going to create a new file called video player.json, because it's a JSON document. And there, I just pasted everything from APL Ninja over, which is really kind of cool. And then what I can do is come over to my code, and now I can start using that JSON document. And so I am going to find my search intent. So now this is the search intent that's tied to that other the intent front end that we were just looking at. So what I mean by that is, I keep pulling up the wrong thing. So let me exit out of here and get back to my skill. I clicked the wrong one. So office, oops. Here, developer office hours. And then, so what I'm showing is that my intent here, so I define my intent here, and I define in my interaction model how Alexa is going to route what the user says to the different intents. And then once we get there, then I can, then what Alexa will do is it'll call my backend Lambda function, say the intent was search intent, and here are the different slots filled out. And so there's a slot, and if we look in here, there's a slot from the request called query that matches my slot in my utterance. And in that query slot will be my entire value. And so here what I'm doing is and I wrote this on Wednesday, I'm performing a search using the query slot value. And that search result will have a bunch of all the results basically. So now what I can do is I can load in my APL document, and start working with that. So one of the very first things we want to do is we always want to check to make sure that the device we're working with supports APL. And in the incoming request to my Lambda function, it will tell us what sort of device it is, whether, and then the different profiles and so. So we can use the ask SDK, which I have loaded in here, to help us determine if that is available. So we can do ask utils dot. I am reading this off of other documentation on another screen. I don't have this memorized yet. I need to. So here I'm using the ask utils, which I have imported here. And there's a helper method, get supported interfaces. So again, we turned on the APL interfaces. So I'm passing this helper function my handler input, which is coming here, which has all the request information in it. And then I'm saying Alexa presentation language is not none. So this allows me to now know that I am working with Alexa presentation language. So now, or the incoming request is coming from a device that supports Alexa presentation language. So now what I want to do is I want to add a directive to render a document on the screen. And so you provide your response to Alexa's request, you add in a bunch of directives. So the most simplest format is you say speak, and what I'm currently speaking back is the results from, it's really just echoing the query value that was said. So I'll change that in just a moment, but that's like the simplest response. You can also add other directives to say, render a document or manipulate the document. And we'll be doing both those as we go. So what we want to do is we want to say handler input, response builder add directive. And we're going to be adding a render document directive. And I don't think I've imported that yet. No. Okay, so we need to add that. So this is from ask SDK. Yes, okay. So now we have the render document. And then, okay, so the document is the first parameter, and it's really just what we need to do is we need to get our JSON document. So let me do with open docs video player as APL doc. And then I could do APL JSON equals let's bring all that over. Okay, so here I'm loading the JSON document that has all of this APL information in it, which is fantastic. So that's the document to render. And then the second piece of this is the data sources. So we haven't looked at that yet. So we should go back over to our example here and look at the data sources. So you provide the document and then you provide data sources. And here they have all of this information to render to help render the screen. And so what we do is we can just copy this over and bring this over as our data sources. So here I'm saying provide the APL document and then provide this data source. And you can bind the data source to the document you can say, when you do it this way, the data source will show up in this payload attribute. And so if we come over here, we can see payload. I can say here the source of this is this string right here. And so it's pulling from the data sources. And so what we can do is we can refresh the data sources on this document as part of what we're working with. So this is the example data sources that they bring in. Here they've defined a couple transformers to take the text over into how to speak the text, I should say. So let me fix this a little bit. I think this is still off. Yes, properties. This should be indented more. Okay, so this is and if we go back to their document, so we have Big Buck Bunny and then simple sample test video. And then here's a trailer. So this actually gets spoken. Here's a trailer for Big Buck Bunny. And that's the spoken version of it. So this is the text, and then this is the spoken version. So where's the text being played at? I'm not quite sure. Okay, so now we have, we're rendering a document, and where does this guy go? Here. So we're adding, if the device has a screen, we are rendering this document and providing it data sources. And then I'm going to get rid of this reprompt. So the reprompt allows you to ask for a question, a normal voice interface without the screen, without the visual. It'd speak a text and it waits a few moments and will reprompt you. Like, was that helpful is what I was reprompting here. Okay. So let me just build this and see what happens. So if I'm going to build this locally, deploy this. So what I'm actually deploying is I'm deploying my new skill backend Lambda function. So the skill front end code is configured to call my Lambda function that is hosted in my AWS account, defined in CloudFormation. All the permissions are set up there and so on. Hey, Jawwork. Oh no, we have a real Alexa developer here visiting. Jawwork actually knows what he's doing. He's been doing this a lot longer than I have, so this will be fun. Welcome. Jawwork, I am building an Alexa skill, and what I'm doing is I'm building a skill that's going to pull down all of our office hours videos, well, everything from our YouTube channel, and bring it down, and then create a searchable index out of it. And then I'm creating an Alexa skill where I can say, show me from office hours where we talked about blah, blah, blah topic, and it'll actually zoom to that point in time in the video. Not really. Trust me, Jawwork, you're awesome. And so what I'm doing is I have a repo here. I've been working so far up building out the entire backend infrastructure. So I'm downloading videos from YouTube. I am converting them over using Media Convert. I'm transcribing them using Amazon Transcribe. I'm pulling out key phrases using Amazon Comprehend, and I'm storing it all into Amazon OpenSearch. Oh, nice. Awesome. Jawwork just said he's watched the last video. Looks like an interesting project. It is, and it's keeping me quite busy. And it's forcing me to really get back into writing code. I spent the last few months, I feel like, planning for what I was going to do this year and gotten away from actually working with Alexa, which is my job. So now I'm digging back into it. So I'm having a lot of fun. And thanks for joining, man. So now I'm deploying the backend code. I'm still using, to be clear, what I deployed is really just this example from APL Ninja. I haven't modified it at all. It should play exactly this on my device behind me once I get this all deployed. And then we could start modifying it. And actually, the first thing I want to do is my search results are pulling back real examples. It is actually querying. So I want to just connect the two and play the video behind me on my device with Bug Bunny and everything else over it. And I just want to keep slowly iterating on it so that I get closer and closer to what we want. So the first thing I'll do is swap out this URL with an actual search result. But let me first make sure that it is rendering fine. Any video will render fine, I should say. I've been playing around. I did find a way. So I'm going to stream from my my CDN that I deployed here. I did find a way where I can stream to an Echo device directly from YouTube, but I'm worried about doing that. I feel like that has to violate some terms of service somewhere, where I'm just like using one of YouTube's streams. There's an API that I've been calling where it'll give me like the actual live stream, and so I can just stream that directly to the device. I feel like that is not a great way to go about doing this. Okay. So we have that going. Make sure I have some weird invocation names. So to make sure I don't forget what I need to update this. Okay, computer, open developer video archive.
I found a few matches for that. Did you mean developer facts?
Computer, open developer video archive.
Welcome to the developer office hours video library search.
Search Alexa presentation language.
Sorry, I had trouble doing what you asked.
Ah.
Try again.
Alexa, stop. Or computer, stop. Computer, stop.
Goodbye.
This is why I progress through this slowly. So let me look at my Lambda logs from that function. Here it is. This is my skill backend Lambda function. I'm going to go and look at the logs. And see if there's an error here. Let me make sure my code got deployed, and there's my doc folder. Okay. So to make sure my JSON document got there. We'll see if Lambda has any clue as to what broke. The JSON, here it is. JSON object must be a string. Where did I screw this up? Oh my goodness. Let me actually look at my Lambda code here. It'll just be quicker to resolve it. Docs video player. With open. JSON loads. APL doc. What is wrong with that? Line 62. What the heck? Holy moly. Holy moly. I bet that's it. This is why I'm not a real software engineer. This stuff drives me nuts. Okay, so I haven't changed it on my local machine, but I did change it in the cloud, so it should work. Computer, open developer video archive.
Welcome to the developer office hours video library search.
Search Alexa presentation language.
Alexa presentation language. Here's the trailer for Big Buck Bunny.
It worked, but it's not showing the controls, probably because this is it's in a portrait mode.
I had trouble
Oh, there it
doing
is.
what you asked. Please try again.
That's weird. They must not show that.
Sorry.
Computer
I had
stop.
trouble
Computer exit. Okay. That's still really cool. So the first thing I want to do is, well, let me copy and paste this over so that I update my local copy of my Lambda function. And the first thing I want to do, so I am doing a search here. Let me actually take out this speak response as well, because we do have spoken text here. I am actually performing a search in my OpenSearch database, and it is actually returning results. And so if I go to my CloudWatch logs, I have logged in here all the different results. And so what I want to do is I want to interrogate that response and find, oh my goodness, that is a long doc. This one is actually JSON. Let me look at this one. So this is my search results coming back from OpenSearch. Oh, you couldn't really hear my Alexa? Okay, I'll have to turn that up. Or figure out how to get that to work. Thanks for letting me know, Jawwork. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to interrogate this response and get to, really what I want to get to is this process video key here. Because this will tell me where in my S3 or my CDN, what video to play. And so this will be the first result in this list. And then the way I have this query structured where it's going to bring me back buckets of results by episode. So like this first bucket here is the same YouTube video. So from this YouTube video, it's going to show all the results where Alexa presentation language was mentioned. And then the next bucket down here will be the next episode where Alexa presentation language was mentioned. All right, Jawwork. Yes, Jawwork. Computer, increase volume. Computer, increase volume. Computer, increase volume. Can you hear that yet? Can you hear the beeps yet, Jawwork? Computer, increase volume. All right. I don't want to get too loud. Okay, so what I want to do, I need to come up with like a really great way of parsing these. But for right now, again, I'm just trying to build this one at a time. And so what I want to do is I want to take the results, and actually maybe I'll, this code's going to get nasty before it gets cleaned up, but that's all right. So the video URL is going to be query results, and it's in the aggregation section of the results, specifically the aggregation for episodes. That's what I called it. And then buckets. And then I'm going to say the first bucket. Again, I'm going to come back in and clean this all up. And then top episode hits. And then hits and hits. Elasticsearch, I think they're the ones that defined this expressive language is quite expressive. There's tons of great information in here. I'm just trying to get to the first hit. So I could do 0. And then source. Will this ever end? And then process video key. Oh no, don't do that. Don't do that. And I need to recopy that. And okay, so this will give me the, let me call it video file name. And then the actual video URL is going to be, I'm plugging into this from my template a CDN URL environment variable. So I don't even have any environment variables yet that I'm actually using. I thought I was. Oh, that's in my my search client. I'm pulling in the environment variable for the host. So let me come over here the environment variable again. So I've defined this entire infrastructure in YAML in CloudFormation. And so part of this infrastructure is building out the CDN, the CloudFront distribution in front of my S3 bucket. And so I'm passing in to my Lambda as an environment variable that CDN URL. And does it have the, it does have the slash. So the actual, and it's not OS endpoint, this will be CDN URL. So my actual video URL is going to be this. And then I should be able to put this down here. And it should start playing that video if everything goes well. And just because I want to be quick, I'm going to manually deploy this into the cloud. I don't recommend doing this. I'd much rather use SAM to keep everything in sync. But for speed's sake, I'm just going to do it this way. Okay. So now that is deployed, and hopefully this will start. It'll still say Bugs Bunny and everything else, but it should show the office hours video. Computer, open developer video archive.
Welcome to the Developer Office Hours Video Library Search.
Search Alexa presentation language and how to get started.
Sorry, I had trouble doing what you asked. Please try again.
So that means I have another typo somewhere. Could you hear that better, Jawwork? Computer, stop. Computer, exit.
Good.
All right, so it didn't like episodes. So, oh dear. Okay, so let's look at the search results. Episode, oh my goodness. Please, I can hear, yeah, you can hear the error now. Thank you, Jawwork. We're making progress, aren't we? So, this is awesome. Again, I need a really safe way of processing this entire huge JSON structure. I'll get to that. I just really want to show the video on the screen. Okay. Computer, open developer video archive.
Welcome to the Developer Office Hours Video Library Search.
Search Alexa presentation language and all the other things.
Here's the trailer for Big Buck Bunny.
Computer, exit.
Sorry, I had trouble doing what you asked. Please try again.
Awesome. Okay, so it played the right video, but it didn't play the right video at the right moment in time.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
Okay, so it played the right video, but it's not the right video at the right point in time. So what I want to do is actually I want to break this out and just do this. So, and again, I'm going to develop in the cloud and then go back. First response or first, that's not first response. That's not what I want, but it'll do for right now. So that'll be the file name. And what I need to do is also get the start time equals first result. That's what I want, not first response. It's always fun to live code and have other people watch you. It's fun to have anyone watch you code at any point in time because that's when you just look like the biggest idiot, I always feel like. So start time. So I have in here like the start time of where I want to play the video. That's one of the results in the database. So start time. And we're going to add this to our list here. So I'm going to say playlist I'm going to say start here. And actually, this is where I'm going to get into trouble because I'm going to be modifying two files now. So what I want to do is come over here and modify the video player to also to look for that new state. So this document that I pulled in that I got from APL Ninja is amazing. It just doesn't do exactly what I want it to do. What I want it to do is start playing at a specific point in time. And so if we look at the syntax for this, if I go over and do, where's the video component? APL video Alexa. Sometimes it's just easier to search Google to get back to the docs. Because I was in the other set of components. So there's a set of components that are, what's the right word? Resizable? No, what's the word I'm looking for? Responsive components. The video player is one of the standard components. So it's in a different section in the tech docs. And I should know how to get from one to the other. I don't have it memorized. It's somewhere anyway. So APL video, what I'm looking for here is in the source array, which I believe that's what we're using. Yeah, source is this. Well, they're using actually just one source, but you can actually specify multiple different sources. And you can specify offset in milliseconds. So what am I going to do? I'm going to change this to be an object. The first property is URL. Second property is offset. And what it's going to be is it's going to be my payload, video player, data, properties, what did I freaking call it? Start. But it is in milliseconds, so I'm going to need to multiply that by 1,000. Is that right? Offset, URL. I'm going to ignore the description. Let's deploy this, come back over here, and I'll say times 1,000. Because I have, what I've saved is the number of seconds to get to where we're at, but the video player actually needs milliseconds. So I'm going to multiply that by 1,000. Cool. Okay, so now, now it's going to actually come back and give me, so here you see like I have number of seconds in how to get a pre-signed URL. This is another example that I had. But what I'm showing is like start time. This is in seconds inside that Alexa video. Where was I going? Come back to here. Okay. Computer, open developer video archive.
Welcome to the Developer Office Hours Video Library Search.
Search, how do I get a pre-signed URL?
Here's the trailer for Big Buck Bunny.
Now I'm worried. That's worrisome. Okay, let me look at my... Oh, and we're back to the beginning. Okay, my skill did not survive. So this is why I make like one change in deployment, one change in deployment, is because apparently I don't know how to code. We have Milo chair. Hey, welcome. I am building an Alexa skill. Welcome to my stream. Okay, so what I'm trying to figure out what went wrong there. Let me look at the response that I got. to make sure that my response looks decent. I'm wanting to get to my data source. So I'm logging, I have an interceptor to log my response from my Lambda function back to Alexa. And that is not multiplied by 1,000. Is this the right response? Yes. So I work for Amazon. I work for the Amazon Alexa team. I'm a solution architect there, slash evangelist. So my job, I guess, is to help and educate developers, to inspire and educate them to work with Amazon Alexa. So building skills for devices like these behind me. So I also, before I joined the Alexa team, which I only joined the Alexa team like not even a year ago, before that I was an AWS solutions architect. So I am better educated in all things AWS than I am Alexa. I'm still catching up on everything Alexa. There is so much to learn inside of Alexa. So part of it is I build skills like this to learn and hopefully educate others. So I'm learning along the way. And what better way than to just stream it live for anyone to see? So welcome. For some reason, so I'm debugging a skill. I'm trying to get a video to show there, and it didn't actually work. So you said, so if I'm coming from web dev, what do I need to be a solutions architect? That is a great question. It depends on what technologies you're going to be a solution architect for, right? So as a Amazon solution architect, I need to know how all the different AWS services work. And what I really like about solution architect is I'm not a software engineer, so I'm not going to be the one writing all the different like production grade quality code. And you'll see my code. My code is not production grade. But what it is, it shows how to like stitch together a bunch of different things together to create solutions. So in AWS, I'm learning Lambda, I'm learning CloudFront, I'm learning S3, I'm learning different databases, DynamoDB, and I'm learning how to build solutions that kind of bring all those together to solve a business problem. Eventually, is what you're getting to. And so, what I like in my mind, what the solution architect, to like boil it down to like something easy, I like to build prototypes of like how you'd connect all these things together, and then hand off to an engineering team to say, now go build a production system and operationalize this and make sure that it's logged and everything's taken care of. Get rid of all my bugs, and make sure it's working. So anyway, I'm wondering if that is not the right response. I'm going to see if there's a newer one. That had to have been it, though. Yeah, it looks like that was the response, but it didn't multiply it by 1,000. Let me do that up here. Video start is that start time times 1,000. I started off, and you said that role sounds interesting. I'm getting pretty bored at web dev. Yeah, I started off as a PHP developer a long time ago, and I shouldn't admit that ever, but that's what I did. I wrote PHP and JavaScript and built websites, and it was fun, but I was fortunate enough to get into I started doing web dev, and then I was from Indianapolis at the time, where there's a company called ExactTarget. Now Salesforce bought it. So I got into doing email marketing through those connections. And so then I started doing like building out emails and building out websites to help think of building out preference centers for email subscriptions. And then I slowly started doing more and more backend services. And that's how I ended up getting into AWS. Was I was a solution architect. I was a specialist for simple email service and Amazon Pinpoint, and then that's how I kind of got in the role. So that's where I came from. There's a really great AWS solutions architect certification you can get, And there's like all kinds, like there's a fantastic course on Udemy by a guy by the name of, I think his name is Steven or Stefan, if I'm remembering correctly, who just goes through and like explains everything you know to be to get that certification. But he does a great job. Like what I like about his course is that he doesn't just teach you how to pass the exam. He actually teaches you like what's actually going on. So you actually are learning, not just memorizing for an exam. Okay, so why did this fail? And I may actually want to, let me redeploy this. Let me actually test this in the developer console. So here you can also test your skills. So I've been testing on my device back here just because I like to show that this is actually doing something. But you can, they have a really great simulator here, and I'll show why I'm going to use it because you can see like the back and forth in the device log. So let me do this. Let me test my skill here.
Welcome to the Developer Office Hours Video Library Search.
Hopefully you guys can hear that too. I need to figure out how to get my computer audio to play directly over into into OBS instead of you're hearing it out the speakers through the microphone. I just haven't had a reason to until like the last couple times. So anyway, okay, so what am I doing? I'm doing a search for how to get a pre-signed URL. So the idea behind this is...
Here's the trailer for Big Buck Bunny.
The idea behind this is I'm building an infrastructure to pull down all YouTube videos to be able to answer questions like this. So we have office hours every Tuesday where we answer questions like how to get a pre-signed URL in your Alexa skill. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build a skill where you can then ask the question and it'll play from office hours like that snippet of the video. And something is not being happy. So if I come over to here, I can view a little bit easier. I can view like the response that I got from my Lambda function. So include the whole JSON document for the APL, and then here. So this is the start time. So that seemed to work. But my APL document is not happy. So I'm wondering if it's a change I made to the source. So what I mean by that is I came over here and I changed source to this on the video player. Which should work. Like, does it have to be maybe it has to be an array. No, they have an example here where it's just the URL, but I'm doing URL and offset. Maybe I will make it an array just to see if that'll make things happier. Okay, so now I'm passing in the playlist, and so URL and offset. I'm not crazy. That is the two parameters, URL and offset. All right, so let's deploy those changes. And we can go back here to this simulator. It'll be a little bit quicker. So I was wondering also, so this is like the actual device log. So the simulated device is being told to render this document. And I'm not seeing like any alerts or any errors or anything like that. Okay, that got deployed. So let's just do this search over again.
I have discovered a Prime Video app is being used. Would you like to use this Echo device to control the Prime Video
that is
with
not,
your voice?
no. I was trying to open my skill. My skill closed.
Welcome to the Developer Office Hours Video Library.
So JawWork says, is that the start time correct? It looks far too big even for milliseconds. You know, you're right. Like, okay, seconds to milliseconds is multiplied by 1,000, right? Like I'm not crazy there. But you're on to something. I mean, you're asking a really great question, JawWork. So let me go down my payload. Oh, okay, here. First, let's see this video. It is an hour long. I'm looking at the other documentation. I pulled it over to another screen. Yeah, I believe multiplying by 1,000. If I specify, I can try not multiplying it by 1,000. Worst case, it'll just start at the wrong place in the video. And that is I want to make sure that's not that's my query. The query results come down. Start time. Yeah, it is a number. I want to make sure that it wasn't pulling back like a string result. Okay, so that deployed. Unless it's starting at the end. What do you mean by that, Jawwork?
To control a video device with your voice, you need to connect it first. In the Alexa app, go to...
Oh boy, come on.
Welcome to the Developer Office Hours Video Library search. Here's the trailer for Big Buck Bunny.
I really need to update that so it stops talking about Big Buck Bunny. Come on. I wonder if there's something else going on. Something else in the document that is also interacting with this. On play. On end, on time update. I'm going to, so one of the things, I was playing around with this before. So I started this a few months ago and I built like a really quick prototype. And what I'm trying not to do is just copy and paste from my quick prototype. Because one of the things I had to do is I had to, because I'm starting it in the middle potentially of the video, I had to like completely modify how all the other things were rendering. So like the progress bar, for example, by default, it like start at the beginning, but I need to start somewhere in the middle. Come on. So this is when it's a small round, but I have a big one, so that's not what I'm worried about. Progress dots. Why are there progress dots? When do the progress dots go away is the question I should be asking. Waiting container. Set value to 0. So on play. Autoplay false. So what causes this to play? So it said autoplay false. Oh, but you know what? There's multiple video types in here. Hold on. So there's this video player. Oh, maybe there's not. Okay. Let me try this. Change autoplay to true and just see what happens. So this document, this is the problem with copying and pasting documents. What value do you have? It looked like yes. But the offset is in milliseconds when I looked at the APL doc spec. I changed it. So I removed the multiply by 1,000. So offset, here, offset expressed in milliseconds, defaults to 0.
Welcome to the developer office hours. Here's the trailer for Big Buck Bunny.
Go on, play. I wish it would give me a little bit better capturing of all the different events that are happening. Okay, so what causes the video player to play? So that's on pause, on play, commands in parallel, on time update, on track update, on press. Progress dots, on mount, speak item, and play. Right, that looks... Show overlay. Sequential. Interesting. Okay, I am going to cheat for just a minute and copy over the APL doc I did a while back. And then then what I'll do is I'll go and try and figure out what the difference is, and then because I only have about 5 or 10 more minutes, I can do this. I desperately want the video to play back there, or even here. Yeah.
Welcome to the developer office hours. Here's the trailer for Big Buck Bunny.
Well, now I changed the document, but I'm sure I didn't change the right binding. Bear with me. Yeah, I just totally changed it. Okay, so I did before. Oh, I feel bad just copying and pasting old code. I'll leave that in for right now. And video player data. Until I get rid of this whole playlist notion. Come on. Updating successful. Okay.
Welcome to the Developer Office Hours Video Library Search. Sorry, I had trouble doing what you asked. Please try again. Sorry, I had trouble doing what you asked.
That's
Please
funny.
try again.
So did it do it at the beginning? Okay, so let me multiply by 1,000 again. And what was the error this time? Where was the error? Capture debugging information. What was the error? Okay, enough of that. Okay, so
Sorry, I had trouble.
I don't have the events, so I don't have the events all wired together, which is why that must be why it's yelling at me. Okay, so that is office
Welcome
hours.
to the Developer Office Hours Video Library Search. Sorry, I had trouble doing what you asked. Please try again.
Look, there's a pre-send URL. What's another search I should do? I know, and I understand this is not playing correctly.
Sorry, I had trouble. Sorry, I had trouble doing what you asked. Please try again. Sorry, I had trouble doing what you asked. Please try again.
I know that Jeff and I have talked about TikTok before, so let me just do a search for TikTok.
Sorry, I had trouble doing what you asked. Please try again.
Wow, that's
TikTok, build interactive
Sorry,
visuals.
I had trouble doing what you asked. Please try again.
Alexa.
Sorry, I had trouble doing what you asked. Sorry, I had trouble doing what you asked. Please try again.
search APL.
Sorry, I had trouble doing what you
We
asked.
can go look at some more APL things.
Sorry,
I don't
I
think
had
we have
trouble
Austin
doing
in
what you
chat
asked.
to help answer
Please
questions
try
about
again.
APL or
The whole sorry, I had trouble doing what you asked is cracking me up.
if I could give a code.
Sorry, I had trouble doing what you asked.
I'm going to call this a
Please try again.
success for today, even though it doesn't really feel like success. So I need to dive through sort of working. Yes, job work. Thank you. It's getting there, right? So recap. What have we got done today? We now have on our skill a front end, and maybe I should actually prove it on this device. Computer, open developer video archive.
Welcome to the Developer Office Hours Video Library Search.
Search APL.
Here's the trailer for Big Buck Bunny.
We can go look at some more APL things. I don't think we have Austin in chat to help answer questions about APL or.
Computer exit.
Sorry, I had trouble doing what you asked.
It's
Please
working.
try again.
Job work. It's not just sort of working. I'm going to call it working-ish. So what have we accomplished today? We've updated our skill to add APL so that we can start playing video. We figured out how to pull the first search result out of the results from the database and play the video based upon the search that we performed. And we got it working. That took way too long. I feel like that should have been a lot quicker, but that is that's me. So what I need to do is I need to copy everything I mucked around in the cloud. Let me do this actually really quick before I forget. So let me copy the skill that I've been editing it in the AWS console because it's a lot faster to edit it there and rework it than it is to continue to redeploy. But redeploying from your local machine is the better, consistent way of doing it. So what I need to do is I need to figure out how to make sure that we rewire up everything in the back end. Because what I want to be able to do, it plays the first search result video. What I want to be able to do is say, like, play the next result or play the next episode and skip to different, like if that, maybe that wasn't the right APL video I was looking for. So I went a different one. So I can say find next, find next. Eventually I'm going to add more slots to my intent. So I can say play from anything or search anything or search Tech Talks or search Alexa and Friends. We have on our YouTube channel, we have a bunch of different kind of franchises of videos that we have. And so we'll keep adding this. It's going to take a while to get to like a production quality system, especially with me behind the wheel, but this is fun and gel work. I definitely appreciate your help and thanks for stopping by. You have a great weekend as well. Really appreciate it. And thanks again. And I'm going to end it here and I'll be back Monday. All right. Thanks everybody.